Okay, in the next few videos, I'm going to discuss with you the topic of blood. Okay, blood is a specialized, well, it's a connective tissue. It's a specialized fluid that works in conjunction with your cardiovascular system, and it is moved throughout the body by the heart. Heart is the pump that provides the force, the initial force that propels the blood, and the blood is then transported throughout the body within the blood vessels. And the blood vessels will be the arteries, the veins, and the capillaries. Now, the basic components of blood, and we're going to go into much more detail on this, but blood is formed or consists of formed elements. Okay, so as you recall, connective tissue, you have cells within a matrix of ground substance and fibers. Okay, so the formed elements are the cells, and later on we'll discuss why we're calling them formed elements versus just plain cells. Okay, but they are consisting of formed elements, and those formed elements will be erythrocytes, also known as red blood cells. They consist of leukocytes, which are white blood cells, and those are usually abbreviated RBC or WBC, and as well as platelets on that one. So those are the various formed elements. The other component of blood is the liquid component, which is plasma. Okay, so we're going to look at the various components of those. Let's start here and talk about blood. Kind of had to put that in red because we're talking blood. So now that's the first thing. Let's look at functions. Okay, so the functions of blood, one is going to be transporting. It does transport mechanisms. And what do you think it transports? What's your main thing, that the first thing that you think of that blood transports? Should be respiratory gases. Okay, so you're looking at oxygen, you're looking at carbon dioxide on those. We are also looking at nutrients. So nutrients would be glucose. Okay, all the nutrients that's absorbed by your gastrointestinal system, your intestines. It transport hormones. Okay, we just finished discussing hormones, so hormones are carried throughout the body in the blood. Okay, so that's going to be one of the functions. Another function of blood is going to be, it's a regulating issue, so it regulates things. So what do you think it regulates? It's going to regulate body temperature. Okay. With body temperature, when your body generates heat, the blood picks it up and then transports it to, say, the surface of your skin. If you're getting too warm, where it radiates off, or it transports it to other areas of the body that need warming up. So I guess you could say, as part of transport as well, it wouldn't be going under the hormones, but it would go under the transporting section as well. So it's transporting body heat to other areas of your body. It regulates your body's pH, which is going to be an acid-base balance. We'll discuss much more of that within the physiology section of this one. It regulates fluid balance. Okay, so fluid is absorbed by your gastrointestinal tract. You drink fluid or you get water from the solid foods that you eat. Yes, you do get moisture from that, and it absorbs it. So that's adding volume to your body, is by the ingestion of fluids and foods. That adds to this. And then you are, well, so the ingestion, let me do this. Ingestion is through your GI system. That's a G, gastrointestinal system. And then you lose it by sweat. You lose fluid by urine. and feces. You lose it also by breathing. Let me bring this down. So you lose it also by breathing because there's moisture there as well. Let's see what else. Maintains fluid balance by exchanging it from plasma, so blood plasma, and it transports it to or out of the blood vessels into the interstitial space. That's the space between the cells. So I'll just put interstitial space. Interstitial space. Okay, so that's taking it out of the blood vessel. The plasma kind of filters out and it gets into the interstitial space. They're very similar in consistency, but the larger proteins reside or remain in the blood vessels. Okay. Another function is going to be protection. So protection, what we're looking at, your blood protects from infection. Okay, so that's going to be from, well, let me just put infection, which is going to be accomplished through, let's say, white blood cells. Those are also known as what? If you don't remember, go back to the beginning of the video. White blood cells are also given another formal name, so know what that one is. So that's going to be infection. It does blood loss. It protects from blood loss. Let me raise this up a little bit more. By blood loss, and that's going to be associated with platelets. That's going to be blood clotting, okay? It's also going to be associated with plasma proteins. And both of those help to regulate any blood loss on this one. So those are the basic functions of blood. Next up, what we are going to talk about, what are we going to do? We're going to talk about the components of blood. So stay with me.